I'd love to talk about these things more, but we have to really get to some pressing business this week. So let's talk about the article of the week. This week, the article is about the application process, and specifically for you seniors out there who are already doing all of the right things. You have been with us this whole time. You're not one of the newbies who's come in and been like, oh my gosh, I didn't know any of the things that we needed to do. You just need a little extra pizzazz for your college application, and that is what we're going to talk about in this article from Business Insider. Love Business Insider for education information because it's Business Insider, right? This is not one of your academic journals. It's not like U.S. News and World Report's like College Help or, high school helpline or whatever. This is from people who are already successful. They've made it through the college process. They've gone through the applications. They know other successful people. So they have great information from like last year and the year before. And so I wanted to share this with you all because, it's that time. And, next week, you need to have that in by that midnight deadline on the 31st if you're trying to get one of these early apps in, which if you're with us for a while, you probably are doing that because it's a great idea to get into your top preferred reach college. So hopefully you've been talking to a college coach. Hopefully you've been setting up some one-to-ones with me. And you're one of the people who is just about ready to go, but it's a great way to look back at your own application and see if you have some of the elements that this article talks about. So this is written by Jessica Yeager. She's a contributor who, as the article states, I graduated from Harvard and MIT, creds. Here's the smartest thing I did on my applications. College application season is coming to a close. Duh. For seniors, your grades and test scores are pretty much set at this point. They're definitely set. They're definitely set. The question now is, how can you make your application stand out among so many qualified applicants? Good question, Jessica. When I applied to colleges, I had great grades and test scores, but so did a lot of students who didn't get into Harvard or MIT. And that's true. I mean, I don't want to set Harvard and MIT up as like the gold standard because obviously Princeton's harder to get into anyway. And in some ways, Johns Hopkins is too. And it depends on what you're trying to get into school for. So I don't want you to tune out basically if you just are, not going into Harvard or MIT or Ivy in general. This matters for all college applications. I did just go over an article that I'm going to be posting on the website for you to look at, which is a list of 100 colleges that have exploded with more and more applications than they ever thought imaginable. Even like one was like 384% more students applied to these schools. Why? Most of them are cheap. They're cheaper. Doesn't mean they're bad. There's Colorado University. There's a university in Phoenix, Arizona that's really good. Colby College says that they have many more applications than ever before. There are a lot of schools that are not Ivy that are getting a ton of applications compared to like 10 years ago. So this matters. This article should help you. It doesn't matter where you're trying to go to college. You need a leg up. Remember, you're in competition with 13,000 other people applying to the same college or more. So it depends on the school. What Jessica continues with is, when I applied to these colleges, the smartest thing I did was to not focus just on grades and test scores, but on the aspects of my profile that made me stand out, almost like she's trying to be an individual. Is that a dog whistle? Anyway, individual. For me, this meant emphasizing my social justice side in addition to my STEM side. That is pretty unique. I mean, if you look at the statistics on people in the STEM field, the social justice aspect of it is actually lower than the society at large. So that's a really cool thing that she did. But it doesn't have to be that. You don't have to be into the STEM field unless you're my WPI people. What's up? But for you, you might just want to put something that makes you super unique. Your combination of loving animals and amazing music talent, your ability to communicate so clearly with some memes or something that you're really good at. Maybe it's that you're really, really good at violin and you've used that to do great community service, something that makes you unique. So where should students focus their college applications to help them stand out from the tens of thousands of applications? See, she knows. I can boil it down to 2 areas. Whoa. Hey, she's got college applications down to 2 areas. You guys are all set. There's going to be a critique. Don't worry. Number 1, focus on leadership. True story. Many students have great leadership experience, but they bury it deep in the application's activity list and don't emphasize it. Nothing drove me more crazy when I was running a company that just got kids into higher level colleges than people who would not put the things they were a leader in first. So let me boil this down. If you are the captain of the tennis team and your team did not go anywhere, like they didn't go to states, they didn't go to nationals, you didn't qualify, that's still a more important cred for you than the lacrosse team that did go to states that you're still not on the head of that team for. You've only been in it for a year. Like, I'm not impressed with you being a bandwagoner that jumped on your senior year or your junior year and you guys made it to states that year. You're not one of those people that built the team to that point. You being the captain of any team is a fantastic leadership role. You being the head of the youth group that you're a part of that headed all of these awesome activities and trips and Habitat for Humanity things that you did for 4 years, 5 years, much more impressive than any sports team, even if the team made it somewhere that you were not leading. So leadership first, like it's all important. It's not like I'm telling you delete. I'm telling you put the leadership at the top. Show where you individually shine in a leadership role. So I love this one. This is like, she really has it down here. If you need more leadership experience, so, you're seniors, but look for places where you might not be thinking that you actually are a leader in. So like I said, like a volunteer place or a religious place that you are a part of, you never know where you're a leader. You might be a leader of something and you just take it for granted. Most leaders do, honestly. They don't really think about the fact that they're leading people to something. So, take stock. Go back through your list, and anything that you can show that you're a leader in, bump it up to the top. Number 2, focus on impact. So I don't really know what that means, so we're going to get into it. Just like the leadership experience, colleges love to see that you have made an impact on your community and the world. See, this is what I was talking about. If you have a project or an organization that you lead that demonstrates your desire to use your gifts and talents to help others, that should be showcased in your activity list. So let's go back to the violin player who goes to hospitals to play for people so that they heal faster. That is unique. It's also a huge impact on your community. You're doing great things. You may not even think about the fact that you do great things, but you doing something regularly, being a part of that soup kitchen, being a part of that thing, your parents drug you to it for a while. And then after a while you drove yourself and you're like, I just care about this thing, but you don't really think about it. It's a huge impact, and community impact, like she is saying here, is absolutely correct. Making an impact on your community means more than doing well on a sports team. It's better than your GPA because it's a social collateral that you're getting an A in. And colleges really, they eat that up. They love it. To really stand out, this should be more than just your typical occasional volunteer work. True story. That's great, but doesn't show tremendous initiative and a desire to change the world. Now, don't let this discourage you from saying any community service hours you've done. Your school probably requires you to do some sort of community service before you graduate, right? Put it on. Put it in there and show that it makes an impact. If you want to commit to something and then put that in there, or get a letter of recommendation, or just get the endorsement of somebody from a volunteer organization that you've just started with but you promised to commit to, that could also plug in. I don't lie, but if you have something that you're really passionate about that you're going to participate in for the rest of the year, and it does make a big impact, and you're kind of like, you created a leadership role for yourself, go for it. Don't listen to her on this one. Like, honestly, like, it matters that you are going to lead these people for the rest of the year. If you were doing something on and off for 4 years, you were still doing it for 4 years. And if now you're a leader in that, it still matters. You did it for 4 years and you're a leader in it. Like that, you can't do everything all the time. So, be honest, but be clear here that like everybody knows that you weren't doing it every day. You were just doing it when you could. And now you're leading like several people in doing something that's of service to the community. So, applying to college is already stressful, and she showcases like these two things. What I would also say in your college application in how you stand out is unique gifts and talents that are not the regular. So this is either a unique sport, or it's a unique artistic talent, or it's a unique musical talent, it's a unique digital talent, it's a unique social media talent. What if you have a channel on YouTube that has like 100 and some thousand subscribers where all you do is talk about cars in this one way that people really resonate with? That's a specific skill where you were able to bring an audience to yourself and you're talking to them every week. You're doing great content. You have really good things to do here. I'm going to be bringing on somebody in the near future who has done just that. And he's very impressive, and he's very young, and he figured this out at a young age that that's what he's passionate about. And hopefully he can tell you the story about that sooner than later. But this is the sort of thing, the thing you do all the time that everybody like told you was a waste of time until it became what you did all the time. And now it's kind of impressive that you've spent so much time doing it. That really matters. You know, I've had somebody talk about they hosted Minecraft servers. This is years ago, but they hosted Minecraft servers and they got a pretty big following on a live stream. And they had a lot of people come to that, and they built things for them, and they got people kind of started on things. And they were teaching kids how to grow and build. And it was sort of almost an architectural thing that he was doing. So it was pretty impressive. And I mean, it got him into the school he wanted to get into. It was definitely conversation material for an interview. Don't sell yourself short, in other words. Just because you think, well, maybe somebody thinks this is stupid, doesn't mean that somebody's not going to be impressed with the fact that you committed to something, you spent hundreds of hours doing it, and you are in a leadership role, and it's in a way that made an impact either in the digital world or in your community at home. So this is great advice that Jessica gives here, but expand out a little bit. Make sure that you're just showcasing yourself and being unique. Being unique always helps. And again, not just for Harvard and MIT, but for any school, you want to be at the top of the ladder, because that's the way that you're going to get scholarships. That's the way that you make that more of a, not a reach, but something that's more for you, because you probably are amazing just in one special way that you need to show them. And if you're not, well, yeah, I don't know how to help you. No, you probably are. Don't worry about it. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. And thank you, Jessica. And this has been the Article of the Week. All right. So let's keep talking here about some of the things that I have gotten recently sent to me in regards to relationships and how do I make the most out of senior year. Senior year is tough to make the most out of. I mean, you guys are it's the long haul, right? You're feeling the burn, and it's tough. And it starts to be a real marathon after this process. Like January, February, it starts to really be a marathon. So, what do you do? Nice Napoleon Dynamite reference. Whatever you feel like. Gosh. Yeah. No. So what you want to do your senior year is you want to be shoring up your relationships. I mean, after this, remember, you will be finished applying if you follow the formula and you've been with us for a while. And even if you're a newcomer, you're going to start to realize you need to have this whole college thing behind you soon. Maybe not right away on the 31st, but really hopefully by the 31st. But if not, by the end of this year, which is coming quickly. Remember, Thanksgiving is in a month. So winter break is coming in a month and a half, 2 months. So this is really a priority. You want to get this behind you so that you can start focusing on ending well. And we're going to be talking about that. We'll do a whole series on ending well after January. And I love that. I'm super excited about it. But what you want to do now is you want to start strategically thinking about guidance counselor, the people who did your reference letters, the teachers who did, thanking them, getting involved with the older people in your community, just knowing the people who are doing things in your community and being a part of their world, learning from them, meeting up with them, having a coffee with somebody on a weekend that isn't, your age. Remember, people in your community that are in higher positions are older than you and have opportunities to offer if you ask. It's really funny what happens if you ask. If you assume, wow, this person's pretty important, this person has a lot going on, I won't bother them because probably a million people ask them for things all the time. You will never know, and you will never get anything from them. If you picked 12 people in your community and you said to yourself, you know what, I'm going to ask them if they know anything about what I'm interested in or something that would help me to get into college or at least give me a boost and maybe something to look forward to try to work toward in terms of a career or an internship opportunity next summer. If you hit those people up and you ask them, guess what? They might say yes. Wow. They might say no. So what? They might say, I don't have anything for you. But now they're thinking about you. I call it top of the pile. Now you're on their mind. So then they're thinking about an internship opportunity, and they're like, yeah, I remember when I was talking to Jason, and he said something about that. You know what? I'm going to send him a message. I'm going to email him. So how do you do this? What's the step-by-step process of building a good network in your community today? The first thing is email address. Have a real email address, like not the kid one, not your school email address from high school. They're going to get rid of it. Have a real email address that you will take with you to college that looks almost like an adult made it, and have it be identifiable as you. So that's the first step. Number 2 is have conversations with people in your school, in your local community, library, religious center, whatever it is that you're a part of at your home. Have conversations with people and ask, can I email with you about getting together sometime? I'd love to pick your brain about blank. Career, idea, public service, their job, their life. Remember, people love talking about themselves. So if you can get somebody to agree to do a coffee with you where they talk about themselves, and remember, you don't have to drink coffee. And if you don't have coffee as good as mine, you probably shouldn't anyway. But there's all kinds of beverages. Tea, you can have a milkshake, whatever. Just don't drink soda. That's gross. Yeah, good coffee, though. Oh, anyway. Get them to start talking about what they do and about themselves. They'll reminisce and they'll have interesting things to say, and they're going to be teaching you things that you've never heard. And so they'll enjoy that too, because they'll feel like, wow, I'm really knowledgeable and I actually know a lot about this. So, this young kid is really interested in it. And that makes people feel good. So it's a good thing to do for them anyway, but it's good for you. So you can do that. You can talk to your guidance counselor. Thank you so much for what you've been doing for me. I'm really into what it is that I've been, applying for. And do you have any avenues or people that you think would be good for me to connect with before I go, just in case there's like a summer internship or something I could do when I come home for the summer? Reminder. Okay. So your freshman year internship does not have to be awesome. Doesn't have to be crazy, but it could be. Why not? So that being said, if you are interested in getting a relevant internship, in other words, in general what major you care about, you're applying for a major specifically, or a couple of majors, and you see yourself doing an internship and you can kind of guess what that would be. Companies are looking for those people to do those summer jobs by like the end of this year. So like not March and not the end of this summer or not the end of the school year, by like now they're looking for internships for the summer. So let's say that you want a summer job before you go to freshman year of college. It could be in a company where you're just, giving people coffee, cleaning, whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as you're in the doors of a building that does what you care about, it's so much better than working that ice cream stand. Ice cream gets really old by like July. Plus the hours are terrible sometimes. So, think about that. It might be a good connection to make with somebody about a summer job that would give you a boost and help you to do even better in college in the major that you want to choose. Might also help you figure out you hate it and you don't want to do that as a major, so you can start the transfer process right away. Either way, information is great. So utilize this time. Work on this whole summer job thing. Getting involved in your community right now is totally the move, because you're probably going to be in your home community at least for the next 3 summers. This summer, freshman summer, sophomore summer, maybe even junior and senior. So it's great to, especially if you have a good community, like one that has a lot of opportunities, get to know these people. So, all right, the next steps. You've gotten the email address of the person you want to email them. Follow up. So you're going to send them an email to meet up sometime like now, and you're going to ask to meet up sometime the next 2 months. They will not get back to you, likely. If they do, that's awesome, but likely they will not. But even if they say yes, and you're booked out now until December, follow up at the end of November. Hey, I'm just following up, making sure we're still good. It's in my calendar for this weekend in December. I just wanted to make sure that's still good with you. Somebody doesn't get back to you for 2 months. They've already agreed to email. Hey, I'm just sending up a follow-up email, making sure that you've gotten, the information from before. And I just want to make sure that I got the email address correctly and that it didn't, spam you. It didn't go into your spam box. So this is kind of the way to put it off as like, well, it's not your fault. You didn't get it, even though they just, didn't email you back. So that's a good thing to do, is to follow up. So if you follow these brief steps and you try to get these connections with adults in your community, in your school, in your library, etc., you really could do yourself a solid. You could get yourself involved in some things over the summer and the rest of the school year where you gain respect, you gain a network, and you get ahead, quite frankly, because again, you are in competition with everybody in your class. In your community especially, you're in direct competition with everybody. So get ahead. And if you don't, the other people that are in your school that you don't know are on here, they're going to do it. And then you're not going to have that opportunity to by the end of the summer. So good luck. All right. So that's the question that I got for this week. Are there any other questions that I can address right now? Don't be shy now. I will finish sipping some coffee while I wait. My parents know people in the community, but they will not introduce me because they say I'm immature. Introduce yourself. That's the mature thing to do. And if your parents won't, I mean, I really question why they wouldn't. Maybe it's to protect you. You know, there might be something to that. So I would address it with them. Don't go over their head, but address it with them. Listen, I talked to Eric. He was on the live stream. He said it would be good for me to start talking to people about the future. I just want to connect and have a solid email conversation and then meet up once for like a coffee or a lunch. What do you see is the harm in that? And if they're not willing to give you that contact, sorry, you have to make those contacts another way. But I recommend doing that. But that's a great question. Are there any other questions? I'm going to do the countdown. Going once, going twice. Sold to the man in the blue box. Listen, you can always email me, Eric Allen at collegesuccesscoaching.com. You can go on the Facebook page, College Success Coaching. You can check us out on YouTube. And I forget to say this all the time. I have other videos of other articles that we go over that are for other grades and for college students. So you can always jump on there, leave a comment. That's a great way to give me a question, start a conversation on those videos, and like and subscribe, and then share that with people too. It's a lot easier sometimes to share the YouTube channel. And then you can get your friends to have a conversation with you about that. And then they'll jump on this and you guys can have your own little college success coaching group. So those are fun. People tend to enjoy those. So, do that. Jump on there, Instagram at College Success Coaching. And any other way that you want to communicate with me, just feel free. I look forward to talking to you later. And you guys have a great week. I'll see you soon. Did you like that video? Did you find it interesting? Do you want to find out more about how to get more out of life? That's a lot of mores, and we can do even more than that. So if you would like to check out our website, www.collegesuccesscoaching.com, you can see what it's all about. I answer live questions every week. I have videos with experts in all kinds of fields that can help you to learn more about what they do and what you could be doing. And even more, we have resources on the website. It's a blast. So go ahead, check out the website. It's risk-free. 2 weeks on me. You're welcome. And otherwise, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you can get all these article reviews, as well as every once in a while, I'll do a live Periscope where I'll answer any questions anybody sends me throughout that time. So keep on keeping on. We'll see you soon.